Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and random personal anecdote, I'm currently home alone, so I'm willing to bet money that someone's going to come to the door while I'm recording this, just specifically to interrupt this recording. Hopefully that doesn't happen, because it is time for me to talk about Greece and the song that they are bringing to Eurovision 2022, and here endeth where I have random tangents to go on, so let's just get on with the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about today. So, this year, Greece will be represented by Ms. Amanda Georgiadi Tenfjord, who, as the name implies, has some Norwegian roots to her, but also is very much Greek. That seems to be a running trend in recent years. I would say Greece's last 3 separate entries were someone who is definitely Greek, but also has obvious ties to another country, be that Canada for Katarina Duska, or the Netherlands for Stefania, or in this case, Norway. Anyway, that doesn't really have any bearing on anything because she is still Greek, so no big deal. Anyway, the song is called Die Together. So, nice and cheery, wahoo! And the song is fully in English, music and lyrics by Amanda herself, as well as Björn Helge Gammelseiter. So, If the Tenfjord part of her name didn't give away her Norwegian roots, I think that maybe her co-writer might. But, as I said, that doesn't actually matter, because why should it matter? Anyway, song. I'm looking forward to talking about this one. So, first impressions, well, I think the obvious comparisons would be towards the likes of Billie Eilish or Olivia Rodrigo, but I think that those sorts of comparisons on a surface level are rather lazy. After all, neither of those artists invented this sort of sound, they just happen to be the current faces of it, and Amanda deserves to be up on that pedestal with them rather than being in their shadow. If I had to compare this to the work of other artists, I'd be far more inclined to point in the direction of Imogen Heap, and even then, largely that's just through the very specific usage of vocal harmonies and the like. Regardless, this song comes at us with an absolute mountain of identity and emotion, and the fact that I'm so inclined to think of other similar artists in the first place is only a testament to the enduring popularity of this style of artistry. I don't know if other people have been that inclined to compare, but it wouldn't surprise me. But even if so, I want to discourage those comparisons. This song is entirely its own beast, in the best kind of way. So, let's unpack that a little. Well, let's start with the song's opening minute or so. It's unusual by pop music standards, and that's a good thing. It gives this song a unique identity, as well as a signature sound that helps it to stand out both in the moment and in retrospect. In other words, you're going to remember those haunting harmonies long after the song ends, albeit regardless of whether or not you feel positively about them. I say they're haunting. They haunt me. They will probably haunt you too, or maybe not, I don't know. Further to that notion of it having a strong identity though, this song also defies convention in its storytelling. Most songs that address relationships like this will fall into either one of 2 possible camps. Those being team, look at how much we love each other despite all of the cracks, and team, great googly moogly, it's all gone to hell and I'm kind of reveling in the chaos. This song, however, completely defies that binary in favour of a more nuanced narrative that acknowledges the hardships of the relationship and elevates some of the harder to articulate emotions. And that whole thing, it gives the song its own flavour. Consequently, the whole thing feels that much more authentic and thus easier to connect to, and it makes it easier to want to support it as well. It feels like it's based on a true story. Or, I mean, in modern parlance, you could just stop at, I feel like it's based. I have no difficulty in believing that this is Amanda's up-to-the-second lived reality with her partner, and that relationship is precisely what informed this song. After all, the emotional delivery here is extremely heavy and convincing. So multiply that by everything I've already said about identity and uniqueness and authenticity, and yeah, you have completely sold me. Until proven otherwise, this is a 100% true story, remediated through song. She might be single in the real world, I don't know, I'm that sold on her story. And even if I remove myself from that level of investment, which I would need to do in order to properly evaluate it as a juror, let's not kid ourselves, Amanda is a phenomenal vocalist. This song alone demonstrates 3 core talents. Her ability to perform with plausible emotion, her ability to do soft, tender, and restrained notes, and her ability to utterly belt out the huge notes, project with the diaphragm, all without losing that sound of sincerity. To cut a long story short, we have a strong vocalist who's written a strong song for herself, and her prowess shines through at every possible opportunity. Brava, Amanda, you have absolutely floored me. I will, however, hesitate at the assessment of saying the song has something for everyone. After all, I can completely sympathise if you don't vibe with this song, especially that opening minute. After all, those harmonies can, depending on your taste, come across as off-putting because of the uncanny juxtaposition of her emotional timbre against the more emotionally monotone backing vocals. Even if that aesthetic doesn't bother you, you might well find that it's just too slow burning for your taste. The song's energy is expressed through the power of her vocals and emotions rather than anything upbeat. So if that's what you personally thrive on, you may lose interest quickly, or feel disappointed to discover that what the song builds up to is more of the same but more powerful, rather than more of the same but more upbeat. It's all a question of taste, and that's fine. On a more nitpicky note, something that I'm personally still in two minds about in terms of is it worth bringing up here, is the middle 8 of the song, the take my heart and rip it out, that part. It might seem like an effective emotional little mantra, or it might seem egregiously repetitive depending on your perspective, and I'm not sure where I sit there just yet. After all, it is just the same phrase repeated several times over, so you could be forgiven for running out of patience and dismissing it as filler, and that might lower your estimation of the entire song given its identity as a theatrical piece of art. Incidentally, speaking of the song's genre and artistic identity, whether you like the song or not, it could very well come as a grievance to you to hear all of these comparisons between Amanda's music and the music of other more well-known international artists within the broader world of dark pop. You might be gritting your teeth going, no, she's nothing like Olivia Rodrigo, actually. Or, conversely, you might be sitting there going, yeah, Billie Eilish, heard it all before, next song please. Either way, the end result is the same. Your experience is being marred by the presence of these pesky, really easy surface-level comparisons to other artists. I hope that explanation makes sense. I recognise that this is a point that's very easy to misunderstand. I'm not saying, oh, she's too similar to other artists. I'm saying either feeling that she's similar to other artists or hearing other people feeling that she's similar to other artists may bother you. Hopefully we're on the same page here. Anyway, how do I feel? Well, after some heavy thought, the number I've landed on for my personal score is a very, very high 9 out of 10. I know I don't have to justify my feelings, but the explanation that I have is, simply put, I like this sort of music on the whole. I like stuff that has a deeper story, even if it's only implied, and I like stuff that addresses emotions like this instead of doing these polite social dances that we tend to do to avoid directly confronting subject matter such as this. I like songs that don't baby me, basically. However, that being said, I do have to mention that the vocal harmonies remind me of, well, Imogen Heap is the first one that comes to mind. I've been exposed to a fair bit of art music like this over the years, but really the best comparison that comes to mind is Laurie Anderson's Oh Superman. So I kind of can't shake this imprinted feeling sort of within my subconscious that vocals like this are inherently a bit creepy, not least because they're probably saying something extremely profound, even if they are somewhat maudlin in their presentation. Or, to say it in Tesperanto, vocals like that make my soul sneeze. Does that make any more sense than what I was saying before? Well, anyway, let's speak technical gems. Lyrics-wise, 2 out of 2. The song reads like one of those open a vein and just bleed your story kind of deals, watered down just a tiny bit to make it a bit more mass marketable. Basically, it feels raw, it feels real, and not to the detriment of its potential popularity. Music-wise, it's a hard one to call, but I will say 2 because I want to recognise her gumption. Although about half of the song is basically a cappella, yeah, I'm inclined to go for the full praise here because it is a bold artistic choice, but it works, it's a gamble and it paid off, and it gives the song a strong sense of identity. Delivery has to be a 2 out of 2. Amanda has an amazing voice, and one would certainly hope that she does, given that the first half of the song is written around putting 110% of the spotlight on that voice and nothing else. She can do introspective, she can belt out the big notes, she can be soft, she can project with the diaphragm. She's a force to be reckoned with is basically what I'm saying. Staging potential, I'm going to take a risk, slightly informed by Bulgaria last year in the sense of, again, dark pop that's difficult to stage, but can they pull it out the bag? I'll say 2 out of 2, because I fear that the first half of the song may be challenging, but ultimately I think that the staging will reflect the levels of artistry shown everywhere else in this production. Whatever we get, it's not going to be generic, and it's not going to be underwhelming. I am certain of that. I mean, this time last year, Greece sent a song that was much more pop-friendly, you could call it generic, but only as a comparison to this song, and we still got some really creative staging, so just imagine what they're going to do with this. Now, appeal-wise, this is where I will say 1 out of 2, because as is so often the way with boldly artistic songs, what it gains in standing out and appealing to its hardcore fans, it sort of loses in the potential to attract wider masses. Some people will love the song's uniqueness, yes, but others will find its artsiness to be a turn-off. But hey, if we all had the same opinion, Eurovision wouldn't be a contest. Anyway, that's a technical 9 as well, for a fantastic total of 18 out of 20. Greece is clearly bringing their A-game this year, or should I say their alpha game? Haha, alphabets. Anyway, the bigger picture. Well, despite all the praise that I have for this song, I can't really go any higher than the blue arrow, simply because nothing has changed, and nothing needs to be changed. Just like with the last 2 years, and with 2019 before that, Greece has gone fully internal and, as I said earlier, chosen someone unique, with loud and proud ties to their homeland, but who has made a life for themselves overseas as well. This whole identity linking back to Greece worked for Katerina Duska, it worked for Stefania last year, and I think it's working for Amanda as well. It's great to see the amount of variety that Greece has been serving in recent years, and this just carries that pattern on in the best possible way. Once again, they've struck a beautiful balance between what is popular internationally and what they feel best represents them as a country, and I can really only applaud that. I look forward to seeing just where else this mindset takes them in the coming years. But the coming months, meanwhile, will this take them into the final? Instinctively, I would say that this is an easy finalist, no questions asked. After all, Greece used to be one of those countries that never missed a final, no matter what. And there have only been 2 hiccups in their history since they lost that title. I would say this fits perfectly alongside their existing Hall of Fame in terms of the level of quality that they typically provide. Furthermore, they compete in the second half of the first semi-final, so while I don't have any theoretical potential support from Cyprus, they are bringing something with massive artistic merit and a huge overlap with a corner of the musical market that's currently internationally popular. So, whilst going toe-to-toe with the likes of Norway and Ukraine in terms of cutting a major presence in the show, I think this will still stand out to a major portion of the televoters. And this isn't something the juries have any business overlooking either. If this doesn't qualify, I would be tempted to say that something has gone seriously wrong. But that's just me. You might agree, you might think I'm overreacting, so I will throw the imaginary opinion ball over to you. iCard, video description, think for yourself. If you want to share your thoughts, feel free to do so. And to Amanda, I wish you the very best of luck. I look forward to seeing what your artistry looks like on the stage in Turin.